Today, we're going on a road trip down the California Valley, one of California's most remote, beautiful, and scariest regions to soar over. Finally, I'm going to show you another of my speed secrets, lockpicking. Let's go. If you want speed, you need confidence. A major factor in confidence is knowing that you can land safely in such a place, or not. This valley has some of the most spectacular soaring in the West, but without these scouting trips, I would be too afraid to go. The California Valley is Central California's miniature desert. It lies between the coastal ranges and the Temblor Mountains. At its southern end is Cuyama, which is a common 500-kilometer turn point for Hollister pilots, and it lies within easy striking distance south of Avenal. The thermals here are usually fantastic, but it's an intimidating place. First, the ground is 2,000 feet above sea level, so you lose glide range simply by flying here. And more scary, it is absolutely desolate with no actual runways. The first place I want to visit is its southern tip, because we don't even have turn points there, let alone any marked landouts. Thankfully, what I find is encouraging. This part of the California Valley actually looks kind of decent to land in. The scrub is really small behind me, just a few feet tall, and it's these very brittle sticks, easy to run straight over. Ground is relatively flat too, and not too many divots down through there. And right next to the road, easy access, no gates, no anything like that. See, this one's good. Although it would not be the smoothest place to land, I would still be okay landing in a flat spot down here. I would be fine and could easily get my trailer in to retrieve the glider afterwards. The next place I want to check out is Soda Road South, a place we do have marked in our database. It is listed as being flat with no berms or obstructions. Sounds good, but I want to see it. The road is in great condition and with no berm. There is a gate where the road transitions from asphalt to gravel, but south of that looks very nice. There are some poles that mark underground cables spaced every 1,000 feet or so on the east side of the road, and that may be a factor for open class gliders. So this is what the area near Soda Lake Road generally looks like. Pretty flat, small scrub, small gopher hole. But generally I would feel good about landing here. Easy to get to from the road, no fences, no gates. Something I always wanted to see up close is the immense Soda Lake in the middle of the valley. It looks very hard and flat from the air, but it's not in the database, and I've heard other people say it's no good for landing. The lake is covered with a crust of white powder. If you're wondering, yes, it tastes exactly like baking soda. For a minute, I can almost imagine that I'm taking my first steps on the moon. Look how deep my boots sink in. The soil beneath is very spongy, and I'm sure a glider would dig in deep. Combine that with the caustic dust, I can understand why it's not in the database. Moving on to the town of California Valley, there used to be an actual paved strip here. It's just across the street from the post office and only a few minutes walk to a hotel, which does make it seem like a relatively attractive place for a Landout. Which brings me to my next topic, gate locks. This is usually a major consideration in places this remote because there may not even be an angry farmer to unlock it for you. So in considering a Landout, we might worry about the locks preventing us from getting our glider back. The old airstrip is back there. The ground looks good. Pavement obviously completely gone, but everything's smooth, no real obstacles. Only problem is this gate. So there's a gate that leads back to the road over here, and there is a master lock on it, so it shouldn't be a huge deal, but it's a master lock combo. One of these guys. For this reason, many of us keep a set of bolt cutters in the trailers. This is a crude solution though, and it may not work on hardened shackles. What I've observed in my Landout scouting trips is that the gate lock is nearly universally a master padlock or combination lock. This lends itself to a much cleaner and simpler solution, lockpicking. This morning, I went to the hardware store and bought these 3 Masterlocks, a combo lock and 2 hardened padlocks. I am not a good lockpick. You should learn this from somebody else, but that's my point. This is so simple any of you can learn it quickly. First, I want to show you the guts of their combo locks, so I cut mine open. Inside, there's a claw that opens the shackle. The wheels have a flat spot below their correct number that allows the claw to open when the correct combination is given. It is easy to use a Peterson mini knife, like I'm doing here, to feel for these flat spots and decode the combination, but I want to show you something even easier and faster, bypassing the lock entirely. If you wedge the mini knife to the left side of the second number, you can push the knife deep into the lock to the other side of the claw. You can then depress the shackle and lift up on the knife to unlock the claw. Let's see that on the one I just bought. For their 4-pin locks, you don't even have to know what you're doing. Insert a tension wrench on the bottom of the lock. Apply some torque, and just scrub a rake back and forth on the pins. It will open in less than a minute. The last padlock is a 5-pin lock, and surprisingly, they did put some security pins into the core of this one, so this requires single pin picking. What is happening inside is that I am putting torque on the lock core, which will cause one or more of the key pins to bind. I touch each one to find the one that is binding and slowly lift it up. When the pin reaches the shear line where the key would normally lift it to, it will suddenly slip and click into place, and then I move on to the next pin. The security pins on this lock are a little different in that they are not straight cylinders, but have some extra serrations to cause false sensations of clicking before the pins reach the shear line, and that I'll have to do more passes among the pins until they all settle into the shear line. There is nothing harder about these, they simply require more patience. I'm a bad lockpick. You should learn from other YouTube pros like the Lockpicking Lawyer or the Helpful Lockpicker. But I hope what you take away is that it's very much worth it to take a day to learn this and carry a couple of picks with you to give you some confidence as you fly farther. I'll see you in the skies.